My name is Andrew David Barron, and I'm a human.
Andrew, can you describe I can see you have three layers of clothing. I think you have a t-shirt, probably a black t-shirt, then a shirt, and then like a jacket. So I want to know the history of these three pieces of clothing. Let's start by a t-shirt.
Oh, sure.
Where did you buy this t-shirt? What's the story of this t-shirt?
So this T-shirt, I'll show you. It's actually I used to work at a a dispensary in Denver, Colorado, and this was it's one of the companies that would make paraphernalia in the cannabis industry. So they would make tubes. They would make they also provided, substances like whether it's cartridges or mostly cartridges, but they would make the actual cartridges themselves and have the cannabis in them. And so one of the representatives gave me the shirt for free, and I never say no to a free T-shirt. um, this shirt, yes, this shirt is a the brand is Fjallraven. It's a Swedish brand. They make sort of upscale outdoor hiking gear, if you will. My partner and I, we actually worked for the company in the a few different locations in New York City years ago, but we worked on the Grand and Green location right in Soho. And when I was there, I had a really cool discount, so just bought a whole bunch of stuff. I really like their clothing. Very it's super sustainable. They don't like what's the word I'm looking for? They don't waste any product. So any of the scraps that they have in their factories, they repurpose them for other things. So I really like the modality of what the owner of the company when back in 1951 when he started the company or whatever it was. It's cool. I dig it.
And your overall jacket?
This is a jean jacket that I got from a company called Topo Designs. They're out of Denver, Colorado. And over the years, I've just been adding, some pins here and there. Some of them are about Alberta. This is the actual physical location, the province of Alberta. Some Canada pins since I moved up here. This is a Stampede pin. These are my Platonic Solids pins because I'm such a nerd. Um, and I have other pins. These are sort of cannabis related, and this is a poppy for Remembrance Day to remember all those who gave their lives in different wars throughout the years here in Canada and also throughout the world. Hmm. We're actually in a home out on, like I said, on Sutina, which is the First Nation where my partner's from. And if you give me a second, I'll actually move the so I'll show you. This is kind of like where I'm at. It's kind of like a paradise. You can see the mountains in the background, the trees. It's starting to turn fall here. Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, these are some of my paintings I made in 2021, based upon the series that I started to do with these ombres. And this was the first one I did, and it's a it says, "And dream the dream that the dreamers dream." And that is a line from there's a musical writer, a musician, no, I'm sorry, compositional writer. His name was Eden Abez, um, and he was kind of like the first hippie. He wrote songs for so many people. He actually wrote a few songs for Nat King Cole back in the day. I think back in the 40s or 50s. And when he was back in the 40s, he used to live underneath the Hollywood sign, like with his wife and kids, and he wore all white, like he was like a total hippie. But this was back in the 40s. if you think about it, like who in their right mind was thinking about, like, whether it's doing some sort of cannabis or any kind of, you know, elective substances. But yeah, he was just like a total hippie. He wasn't homeless. He just decided to live underneath the Hollywood sign. And his story is fascinating. He actually came out with, in 1970, I think, came out with an album. And one of the songs he did like this sort of a spoken word kind of poetry, and I think it's called Full Moon. And one of the lines in the song is "and dream the dream that the dreamers dream," and it really impacted me. I thought that's a really interesting way to think about life and to think about not just poetry but himself and his purpose in this world. Um, and then this is the other painting that's here, and it says "Endeavor, endeavor." Thank you. And it's, if you squint real carefully, or like squint, it's supposed to. I saw a sunset here on Sutina, and the sunset just went on forever. Endeavor, 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 endeavor. And I just kept saying that to myself over and over and over again, like endeavor, 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 endeavor. And I came up with that little poem. I'm not sure if I came up with it, but it just exists in the English language. So, but yeah, and I created these like little paintings. There's that one, and there's one more in here actually. Thank you. It's painted. Yeah, this one's called Memory, and it's all about. No, they're all painted. They're all hand painted. Um, and this one is sort of the feudal nature of memory, and how we think that we know things, and later on in life we're just experiencing a ghost of a what we think is a memory. And so memories, people think that, like, oh, my memory's rock solid. Humans aren't like computers. Computers can remember everything as they were, and we just remember certain details. Some people better than others. My grandmother had dementia before she passed away, and it's not kind of like a fear that I have, but I'm always trying to, with my, not to sort of juxtapose my work, but I kind of do these daily rituals of creating artwork to help me remember that day, just in case I get to that point where my grandmother was, or my family history delineates. And it's not the main purpose, but it's kind of like an added bonus, if you will. Um, and I'm able to, when I do my little posts, and I mint them, I mint not just the image, but I create a story behind that. And I put some events that happened during that day. So I'll look up when I write up everything. Um, I'll write down important events, world events that will help me jog my memory. Like, oh yeah, that was that day I did this. Oh, that was the day I heard this song, or that was the day I did this. Because when you think about to a certain day, it's like, well, can I remember that day? Can I really, like, with real fidelity, can I remember that moment to the extent of how I think I remember it? And this way, when I do my work, I can remember that day, not implicitly, but I can remember it a lot better, knowing that I have kind of like this, like this over-engineered mnemonic device that I've created for myself, if that makes sense.
what did you had for lunch today?
Actually, still eating it. It's a veggie wrap from my partner went to Starbucks and got me uh, a chai tea and a little vegetarian sandwich.
Okay. Is it good? Have you started to eat it?
I ate about half so far. I'm a slow eater. I'm kind of like, take little bites here, little bites here.
What was the profession of your mother and the profession of your father?
Um, my mother would say that before she retired, um, she was a domestic engineer, which is a nice, sort of a very nice way of saying, like, a housewife, or in German, Hausfrau. Um, she was a homemaker, and she, you know, She would style the house. She would clean the house. She would take care of my brother and not myself, my brother and myself. Um, do everything that a mother should do, could do, would do, will do. Um, she's great. I love her. She lives in central New Jersey. She's actually, like I said, I'm getting married soon, so she'll be out here soon. Be good to see her. I haven't seen her probably in about a year. She was here about a year ago. And my father, he was in the auto industry for most of his life. Um, and when he was, I forget what age he was, but he started a company. It was called Car Cash, and we were the world's first auto buying company. So there are a lot of dealerships, like, not to digress. I always say I digress for success. So he would buy cars from the general public and then wholesale them back to the industry, back to other dealers or to wholesale agents of dealers, and make a small profit off each car. But before that, when you wanted to sell your car, you had to go directly to a dealer and buy a new car, or you had to go directly to the private sale and talk to someone on the street and try to sell something to someone on the street. And you know, you don't know who you're going to talk to. So my father found a niche in that market, created a whole business around it, and was wildly successful for 34 years after that point until he passed. And yeah, and then my brother and I took it over, and unfortunately, there's a long story that I legally can't talk about. It's a very complicated issue, but I'm no longer in that industry, thank goodness. And now I just do art and I do content creation for a company called G4 with social media and stuff like that. But in terms of my parents, that's what they did.